Welcome friends to a new session on mathematical modeling. Political Models Part 1. Let us discuss some models from political science. Proportional representation. Suppose the voters of a certain school district are to elect 5 of their members to represent them on the local school board. Also, let approximately 1/5 of the voters are women and 1/5 are black males. What type of voting system should be used if we wish to give the women and the blacks the opportunity to elect at least one woman and one black? A widely used voting method in the United States is the method of plurality voting, in which each voter may cast up to a total of 5 votes if 5 are to be elected. The voter casts 1 vote or no votes for a given candidate. The 5 candidates with the largest vote totals are declared elected. With say 8,000 voters and 5 to be elected, it is clear that under plurality voting, a coalition C of 4,001 members can elect 5 candidates of its choice by giving each of its 5 candidates 4,001 votes. The most any other candidate could receive is 3,999 votes. A voting method used in several states to elect members to a corporate board is the method of cumulative voting. Cumulative voting is a method in which each voter may cast a total of E votes, assuming E is the number to be elected, distributing these E votes among as many candidates as desired. For example, a voter may cast E by 2 votes for each of 2 candidates. The E candidates with the most votes are declared elected. If under cumulative voting, a coalition C of 4,001 members out of 8,000 voters ran a full slate of 5 candidates, then its lowest ranking candidate, say C5, could not receive from the coalition C more than 4,001 votes. If the remaining 3,999 voters each cast 1.1 votes for some other candidate D, then D could have more votes than C5 and C5 would not be elected. In the coming section, we shall demonstrate that cumulative voting usually provides the opportunity for proportional representation. One of the major arguments against the use of cumulative voting for corporate directors is that because it does usually provide proportional representation, it may promote factional strife and thus seriously affect the efficiency of the company. Cumulative voting. For the following discussions, we shall let V be the total number of voters, capital N the total number of votes cast, and E the number to be elected. We assume V is greater than E. Theorem 1 and Lemma 1 indicate why cumulative voting can provide the opportunity for proportional representation. Let us see Theorem 1. Under cumulative voting, a coalition C of n voters can guarantee the election of the ceiling function of NE by V candidates, where the ceiling function y stands for the largest integer less than or equal to y. The proof is like this. Let x is equal to the ceiling function of NE by V, then coalition C may cast NE by x votes for each of x candidates. We shall show that it is impossible for each of E minus x plus 1 other candidates to receive at least NE by x votes. Indeed, it is easy to see that since x is less than or equal to NE by V, we have E minus x plus 1 by x is greater than or equal to E minus NE by V plus 1 by NE by V. It follows that E minus x plus 1 into NE by x is greater than or equal to E minus NE by V plus 1 into NE by V. That is, VE minus NE plus V is greater than V minus N into E. The result follows since V minus N into E is the total number of votes that can be cast by the other V minus N voters. Now, let us see an example. Example 1. Suppose n is equal to 46, V is equal to 81, E is equal to 8. According to theorem 1, a coalition of 46 voters can elect 46 by 81 into 8, which is equal to 4 candidates, by giving each of its 4 candidates 46 into 8 by 4, which is equal to 92 votes. Actually, the coalition can elect 5 candidates by giving each of them 368 by 5 votes. This example leads us to wonder if the result of theorem 1 can be sharpened. In order to accomplish this, we use lemma 1. Lemma 1 is this: under cumulative voting, a coalition C of n voters can guarantee the election of k candidates if and only if n by k is greater than V minus n by E minus k plus 1, or equivalently if n into E plus 1 is greater than kV. The proof is like this: a coalition of n voters can give each of k candidates ne by k votes. The least popular of E minus k plus 1 other candidates could receive no more than V minus n into E by E minus k plus 1 votes. Thus, the coalition of n voters can guarantee the election of k candidates if ne by k is greater than V minus n into E by E minus k plus 1. Now, if n by k is less than or equal to V minus n by E minus k plus 1, then the other V minus n voters can block the election of the kth candidate of coalition C. In case of equality, a tie might result. Corollary: a coalition of n voters can guarantee the election of the ceiling function of ne by V plus 1 candidates if the ceiling function of ne by V plus 1 into V is less than n into E plus 1. Let us see another example. Example 2. Let V equal to 81 and E equal to 8. A coalition of size 55 can guarantee the election of 6 candidates, since 6 into 81 is less than 55 into 9. If one is interested in proportional representation, then cumulative voting would be a responsible voting method. In certain countries, proportional representation is often identified with the method of single transferable vote, which will be briefly discussed in the next section. Single transferable voting, or STV, was used to elect city council members in several US cities, but is no longer used. The critics of STV claim that it strengthens factions and promotes extremist groups, that it leads to inefficient government, and that it weakens the two-party system. Proponents of STV claim that STV has often been dropped when an undesirable minority appears to have an opportunity to elect one of its members. Single transferable vote, or STV. Each voter ranks in descending order of preference as many candidates as he or she pleases. Ties are not allowed. At the first count, the voter's vote goes entirely to the candidate ranked first on the voter's ballot. However, if a candidate receives at least q votes, where q is equal to V by E plus 1 plus 1, then that candidate is declared elected. If at the first count fewer than E candidates are elected, then we define for each elected candidate C, if any, the surplus to be the number V of C of votes received by the candidate C minus q. These surplus votes are then transferred to the next remaining active candidate on the voters list, that is not yet elected or eliminated. There are several methods of transfer. The method recently used by the American Mathematical Society involves transferring to the next remaining active candidate V of C minus q by V of C votes. This method is also used to elect members of the Irish Senate. Thus, if q is equal to 25 and a candidate received 100 votes, then 75 by 100 votes would be transferred to the next remaining active candidate on each of the voters' ballots that had originally been assigned to the elected candidate. If after all surpluses have been dealt with, fewer than E candidates have been elected, then some candidates shall be eliminated and the votes currently assigned to them transferred to the next remaining active candidate on the voter's ballot. There are several methods for deciding whom to eliminate, but basically one eliminates the candidates with the lowest vote total. The process continues, including transfer of surpluses created by the elimination of the candidates, until either E candidates have been declared elected by receiving Q votes, or until further elimination will no longer affect those to be ultimately elected. If only K candidates receive Q votes, then the remaining E minus K candidates declared elected are those with the largest vote totals. The fact that proportional representation is usually obtained is related to the theorem 2. Theorem 2 is like this: if E into Q less than or equal to V, then N is greater than or equal to NE by V into Q. Let us see the proof. N greater than or equal to EQ implies 1 greater than or equal to EQ by V, which implies N greater than or equal to NE by V into Q, which is greater than or equal to the ceiling function of NE by V into Q. It follows that a coalition of N voters can, under STV, elect the ceiling function of NE by V candidates provided EQ is less than or equal to V. We now investigate conditions under which EQ is less than or equal to V. Lemma 2. If Q is equal to the ceiling function of V by E plus 1, then E plus 1 into Q minus 1 less than or equal to V less than or equal to Q into E plus 1 minus 1. We will see theorem 3. If E less than Q, then EQ is less than or equal to V. The proof is very simple. E less than or equal to Q implies E plus 1 less than or equal to Q, implies EQ less than or equal to EQ plus Q minus E minus 1, which implies EQ is less than or equal to E plus 1 into Q minus 1, which is less than or equal to V. We will now move on to theorem 4. If V is greater than E into E plus 1, then EQ is less than or equal to V. Proof is like this: V greater than E into E plus 1 implies Q greater than E. Theorem 5. If E square is less than or equal to V less than or equal to E into E plus 1, then EQ is less than or equal to V. Proof. The result is trivial when V equal to E into E plus 1. So, consider the case where E square is less than or equal to V less than E into E plus 1. Then E square by E plus 1 less than or equal to V by E plus 1 is less than E implies E square by E plus 1 plus 1 less than or equal to V by E plus 1 plus 1 less than E plus 1, which implies E less than or equal to Q less than E plus 1, which implies Q equal to E, and hence EQ is equal to E square less than or equal to V. Combining the theorems 4 and 5, we get theorem 6. Theorem 6 says that if V is greater than or equal to E square, then EQ is less than or equal to V. Another major advantage of STV is that it usually results in a small proportion of wasted votes. A vote is wasted if it is cast for a candidate who cannot use it, either because this candidate already has enough votes to be elected or will eventually be defeated. Empirical studies support the claim that a small proportion of votes are wasted with STV. We can construct examples where most of the votes are wasted even when using STV. With cumulative voting, a very popular candidate might receive far more votes than needed. Similarly, votes may be wasted on unpopular candidates. So, we will consider modifications of cumulative voting that alleviate these difficulties. Cumulative voting with transfer of surplus. Let Q is equal to VE plus 1 by E plus 1, and let V of A be the total number of votes assigned to a candidate A. Declare A elected if V of A is greater than or equal to Q. We are assuming here that the basic voting method used is cumulative voting. Definition: if V of A is greater than or equal to Q, then VA minus Q is called A's surplus. Declare all candidates with non-negative surpluses elected. Now, let A be the candidate with the largest surplus. Call a candidate B a remaining active candidate if V of B is less than Q. Now transfer to the only remaining active candidates VA minus Q votes, leaving candidate A with the Q votes needed for election. We consider now the problem of which VA minus Q votes should be transferred. The method to be followed here is essentially the same as that used in the preceding section under STV. That is, if the voter I originally cast VI of A votes for a candidate A, transfer VI of A into V of A minus Q by V of A of voter I's votes from candidate A to voter I's remaining active candidates. If voter I has no remaining active candidates, make no transfer for voter I. We will see this through an example. Example 3. Let V equal to 89 and E equal to 10 so that Q is equal to 81. Suppose V of A is equal to 243, then 162 votes may be transferred from A. Suppose further that voter I had cast 3 votes for A. We transfer 3 into 162 by 243, which is equal to 2 votes to voter I's remaining active candidates. This still leaves the question of how many of the votes to be transferred should be assigned to each of the remaining active candidates on the given voters list. Let us discuss several possibilities, such as transfer all to the candidate receiving the highest number of votes from voter I. Second one, share the transferable votes equally. We shall transfer proportionately. Let Vi dash be the total number of votes cast by voter I for his remaining active candidates. They transfer to candidate B Vi of B by Vi dash into V of A minus Q by V of A into Vi of A votes. Here is an example. Example 4. Let V is equal to 89, E is equal to 10 and V of A is equal to 243. Then Q is equal to 81. Suppose the voter I had cast his votes A 3, B 3, C 2 and D 2. Then we transfer 3 by 7 into 2 by 3 into 3 votes to B, 2 by 7 into 2 by 3 into 3 votes to C and 2 by 7 into 2 by 3 into 3 votes to D, provided B, C and D are remaining active candidates. Thus, after the transfer, voter I's vote are distributed as follows: A gets 1, B gets 27 by 7, C gets 18 by 7 and D gets 18 by 7. Note that one might wish to allow the voter to list on the ballot some candidates to whom he or she wishes to assign initially 0 votes. The transfer process would be the same until the voter has no remaining active candidates with the positive numbers of votes. The transferred votes would then be shared equally by the candidates with 0 votes. This might aid a coalition that grossly underestimates its size. Cumulative voting with transfer of surplus and elimination of low ranking candidates. In this section, we shall consider cumulative voting with transfer of surplus, but we shall add one new feature. If after all transfers of surplus votes, fewer than E candidates have been declared elected, then the candidate with the lowest vote total shall be eliminated and the votes currently assigned to the eliminated candidate by voter I shall be transferred to voter I's remaining active candidates in accordance with the proportional transfer process described in the last section. In case of a tie, the candidate to be eliminated shall be chosen at random. The process continues until either E candidates have been declared elected by receiving Q votes or until further elimination will no longer affect those to be ultimately elected. If only K candidates receive Q votes, then the remaining E minus K candidates declared elected are those with the largest vote totals. This voting method will be called cumulative transferable voting or CTV. Recall that under standard, that is non-transferable cumulative voting, a coalition of n voters can guarantee the election of K candidates if and only if K into V is less than n into E plus 1. If K is the largest such positive integer, then the coalition can elect K candidates by giving each of its K candidates NE by K votes. Actually, there are instances where a coalition should adopt the strategy of supporting k plus 1 candidates, one more than its share. However, in order to elect its share of the candidates under standard cumulative voting, a coalition must have a fairly accurate estimate of its size. Otherwise, it may end up electing fewer candidates than it should. If we allow to transfer of surplus and elimination of low ranking candidates, then a coalition can guarantee it will elect its share of the candidates even though it has no idea of its size. This can be accomplished by directing each of its members to cast one vote for each of E candidates selected in advance by the coalition. To see this, let C be the coalition of unknown size n. Let k be the largest integer such that k into V is less than n into E plus 1. It follows that E minus k plus 1 into V is greater than or equal to V minus n into E plus 1. Now, if the opposition runs E minus k plus 1 other candidates, its lowest ranking candidate cannot receive more than V minus n into E by E minus k plus 1 votes. But V minus n by E minus k plus 1 is less than or equal to V by E plus 1, which implies V minus n into E by E minus k plus 1 is less than or equal to V E by E plus 1, which is less than V E plus 1 by E plus 1. So that the opposition does not have E minus k plus 1 quotas. After elimination of E minus k of coalition C's candidates, each of coalition C's remaining candidates will have n E by k votes, and since n E by k is greater than V minus n into E by E minus k plus 1, coalition will elect at least k candidates. Thus, a coalition need not concern itself with the number of candidates it should run. The coalition can support a full slate of candidates. An illustration of the use of cumulative voting. Cumulative voting is used in the Illinois to elect representatives to Illinois General Assembly. Each party may run a slate of 1, 2 or 3 candidates with 3 to be elected in each district. Each voter has 3 votes that he may distribute 3:0, 2:1, 3:2:3:2 or 1:1:1 among 3 candidates. The majority party often ran a slate of only 2 candidates even when the majority controlled more than 75% of the votes. This may have been done out of fear that their percentage might fall below 75, although it has been suggested that in some districts there is an unwritten agreement that the majority will run only 2 candidates. If they were to adopt CTV, each party could run a slate of 3 candidates and be guaranteed that it will elect its proper share of the representatives. Comparison of STV and CTV. Some obvious differences between STV and CTV are: first one, STV requires that each voter rank his choices with ties not allowed. Second one, CTV, although allowing ties, requires that each voter decide how many votes to give to each of its candidates. Third one, it is easier to design a voting machine for STV. Whether CTV is practical voting system is unknown. A biased example of political scientists indicated that the system has some merit. Now, before concluding, let us summarize what we have learned in this session. We started our discussion with an introduction to different voting methods used for proportional representation. Then we have seen in detail the mathematical aspects of 2 voting schemes designed to provide proportional representation by comparing them. We have also seen illustrations of the results discussed in the form of simple examples. For further understanding of the topic, try out these exercise problems. First one, give an example to show that a minority might sweep an election. Second one, with cumulative voting, does it make any difference how many votes a voter may cast? For instance, if with E equal to 8, each voter would cast up to 16 votes, would the strategy of a coalition be different than if each voter could cast a total of 8 votes? Third one, prove that E minus k plus 1 into V is greater than or equal to V minus n into E plus 1 if KV is less than n into E plus 1. Fourth one, prove that a coalition can elect k candidates if its size is at least KV by E plus 1 plus 1. Fifth one, prove that if KV is less than n into E plus 1, then NE is greater than or equal to KQ. Sixth one, prove that n into E plus 1 is less than NE by V plus 2 into V. Assume that n is less than or equal to V. Seventh problem, write a proof for a lemma 2. Here are some references. First one, Modules in Applied Mathematics Volume 2, Political and Related Models by Stephen J. Brams, William F. Lucas, Philip D. Straffin Jr. and Springer-Verlag 1983. Second one, Proportional Representation by Hogg, Clarence and Hallett Jr. George, The Macmillan Company, New York 1926. Third one, Cumulative Voting, an Effective Electoral Device in Illinois Politics, Studies in Social Sciences, University of Illinois Press 1960. Fourth one, Proportional Representation by Humphreys and John H. Methuen and Co. Limited, London 1911. Fifth one, Game Theory and Cumulative Voting for Corporate Directors by Glasser, Gerald J. Management Sciences 1959. With this, we come to an end of this session. We will continue with mathematical modeling in political sciences in another session. Till then, goodbye.